Hello everyone, Random Gamer Riven here, taking a sneak peek at our recently purchased open source scan converter. This isn't an official video, this is me just having a quick play around. I've actually been recording about 7 or 8 games. I hope to do something over the weekend where I go a bit more in depth, but this is a quick look at how the open source scan converters handles 2 games on the Sega Saturn. The first is the PAL version of Virtua Fighter's remix running at 50 Hz, and this one I was only able to capture in Line X2 mode. I couldn't capture in Line X3 mode or 4 mode on this one, and I could capture at Line X5 mode, but weirdly that crops the bottom of the screen really heavily on PAL games, and I think that's more a bug with the open source scan converter software. I actually picked this up from Amazon for around about £150, which is quite a reasonable price. I actually got the remote control included and the power pack as well, and the remote's got the lovely inlay. I must admit, having the remote is essential for this thing because there are so many menus to navigate. Just using the menu buttons is going to be deeply uncomfortable and very cumbersome, so the remote is essential. I'll include a quick link to Amazon from where I picked it up. Overall, I am impressed with the results, but it's not quite the be-all and end-all some people have been raving about. I must admit, from my QA perspective, I do find it very finicky. It is pretty much on a case-by-case basis. Each and every game will decide whether it's going to work at Line X2 mode, Line X3 mode, even the standard definition mode. I had on one game, the Elgato wouldn't even capture it at the base 240p, but it would do at in the 2x mode. I've had some games capture fine at the 3x mode. Some games the Elgato won't have anything to do with, even on the same system. Even swapping between PAL 50 and PAL 60 can influence which modes will actually work. And the 5x mode is an interesting one. Sadly, it does crop it quite badly in the PAL one and in Virtua Fighter's remix. It was cropping it on the N64 and the NTSC. It wasn't it was only cropping a teeny little bit of the bottom, and as that was actually black rendered, they were really good to go with. But it does really depend on the game and what resolution it used. The output is actually very impressive for what I've seen, but again, this is 480p, I believe. I basically forced it into Line X double mode, and I was standardizing the output via the Elgato, and I'm then blowing it up to 1080p. This video isn't 4K, I'm just doing 1080p for quickness, but I think you'll probably enjoy just me showing our initial tests with it. I've done a few games, I've done a couple that change resolutions, and they are a bit more problematic. I tried StarCraft on the N64, which was swapping resolutions wildly. Iron Storm swapped resolutions quite heavily. I'm interested to see how the NTSC fighters like Virtua Fighters 2 and Last Bronx handle, but I'll give them a try in a day or two. So you can see in the background running now is Sega Rally from Sega, and again this is the Saturn's version, and this one is unlike Virtua Fighters, which is the PAL version running at Line 2x mode. This is the NTSC US version, so it's the North American release, and I'm running this at 60 Hz at Line X3 mode, because it wouldn't support Line X3 on the PAL system, but it would on the NTSC when I had switched to NTSC speed. Oddly enough, my TV would accept it, the Elgato wouldn't, and I've had other times where the Elgato accept the input and my TV wouldn't. So it is very finicky, and this scaler, well, technically it's a line doubler, or tripler, quadrupler, quintupler. It is very much pot luck and pick and mix if it's going to work with your setup and which games it's going to work with. So that's an interesting thing. One point I should just quickly make: this doesn't support composite or S-video, and it won't even accept the inputs even if you plug them into a SCART adapter. You need a transcoder to convert them into RGB signal. This is purely an RGB, or how do I pronounce it again, YPBPR system. It does do VGA, I believe, over RGB. Basically, it's purely an RGB system, so you do need an RGB setup. There's not much point in you buying it if you don't have an RGB setup. But I hope you enjoyed this initial video. I have been very impressed with the results so far. The video quality is very good quality. Admittedly, it's a shame I can't capture it at 1080p on both of these, so you do get a slight lower resolution blurriness, but scaled up it is going to look very nice, and I've been very impressed with the results. Certainly gives a cleaner scan than our old scaler, but we won't be getting rid of the old scaler as it does still have some advantages. Certainly the one we've got, it's much easier to use the older scaler than this one. This one is very, as I said, it's very finicky, but it's going to be interesting going forward using it. I think the video quality will improve. One of the reasons I have actually hung back doing hertz comparisons is because I wanted to wait till we actually got an upgraded scaler and footage, and I think looking at the output we've got from these videos so far, I think that my decision was justified in doing that. So I hope you enjoy this. If you want to have any questions about the scaler, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer them, even though I'm still having a huge fiddle around. One issue I did see, I have got some colour roaming on some colours in the background. There are a ton of options in the OSSC, and I'll have to fiddle around to see if I can slightly get rid of it. But I'll let your eyes be overall the judge of what you think so far.
You did right. Finish!